Good afternoon. My name is Yesenia Yatomi, and I am an Assistant Sheriff with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I'd like to introduce to me to my right is Nevada State Police Colonel Pat Conway, is also with me during this presentation. I'm here to brief you on additional details as we know them today about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. This is officer-involved shooting number 9 for 2023, the fourth fatal shooting. At this time, in 2022, we had 12 officer-involved shootings, with 7 of those being fatal. This event was initiated as an illegal shooting call on December 27th at 3:46 a.m. Now I'm going to ask for your patience during this presentation. This is still an ongoing investigation. We had 2 homicides, 2 officer-involved shootings, and 2 carjackings at multiple locations throughout the southwest part of our valley. We will first identify the 2 officer-involved shooting locations. The first officer-involved shooting occurred in the 8500 block of Blue Diamond Road, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89178. The second officer-involved shooting occurred at Mistral Avenue and Durango Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89148. You can see both scenes on the map to my left. At the first officer-involved shooting location, the officer involved is Officer Jacob McKeel. He is 27 years old and has been with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department since 2018. In this incident, Officer McKeel was armed with a Glock 17 9mm equipped with a tactical light. The investigation revealed he fired 9 rounds. Officer McKeel is assigned to the West Community Policing Division, Enterprise Area Command. The officers involved in the second OIS include LVMPD Officer Timothy Brooks. He is 47 years old and has been with the LVMPD since 2018. In this incident, Officer Brooks was armed with a Smith & Wesson 9mm with a tactical light. The investigation revealed he fired 13 rounds. Officer Brooks is assigned to the West Community Policing Division, Enterprise Area Command. Trooper Martin Moran is 31 years old and has been with the Nevada State Police since 2019. Trooper Moran was armed with a Smith & Wesson .223 rifle equipped with an optic. The investigation revealed he fired 22 rounds. Trooper Danny Kincaid is 31 years old and has been with the Nevada State Police since 2023. Trooper Kincaid was armed with a Sig Sauer 9mm equipped with a tactical light. The investigation revealed that he fired 11 rounds. Trooper Luis Villanueva is 30 years old and has been with the Nevada State Police since 2018. Trooper Villanueva was armed with a Smith & Wesson .223 rifle equipped with an optic and a tactical light. And the investigation revealed he fired 8 rounds. All 3 troopers are assigned to the Nevada State Police Southern Command. Now, our suspect is identified as Justin Davidson. He was a 36-year-old white male adult, 5 feet, 7 inches, weighing 175 pounds. Davidson was armed with a Sig Sauer AR .308 rifle. Our investigation revealed this rifle was stolen last May from a Las Vegas gun show. He was also armed with an AK-47 style rifle with an obliterated serial number. You can see these weapons depicted next to me. The following are Davidson's charges had he survived. Murder, 2 counts. Assault with a deadly weapon, 6 counts. Attempt murder on a PO, 6 counts. Robbery, grand larceny, auto, 4 counts. Felony evading, discharging a firearm into an occupied vehicle. Prohibited person, possession of a firearm. Possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. And the details of this incident are as followed. Now, there's a lot of information to go over here, ladies and gentlemen, so please bear with me. On October 27th, 2023, 3:46 a.m., multiple people called the LVMPD Communications Center reporting illegal shootings near Placid Street and Maulding Avenue. The gunshots also awoke the suspect's parents, who believed their son was shooting his gun in the Desert Wash area behind their house. They got into their vehicle, drove a short distance to the wash to try to find their son. They parked their vehicle, got out, and walked down into the wash. The suspect began to fire towards his parents, striking and killing his mother. His father retreated out of the wash area, got into his vehicle, and began to back away. The suspect continued shooting at his father, striking his vehicle as he tried to flee. As the father backed the vehicle away, LVMPD patrol officers arrived. The suspect started firing from a concealed location in the wash at our officers, who took cover behind their vehicles. He fired numerous times and used both the AK-47 style rifle and the AR rifle, firing at least 24 rounds. While officers were seeking cover, the suspect walked over to a running but locked LVMPD vehicle, shot out the windows, got inside the patrol vehicle, and fled the area. I will now show you video of 2 different volleys of gunfire directed at our officers. None of our officers fired their weapons at this location, and none of our officers or the suspect's father were injured.
Control 1 Ocean 4, it looks like he's hopping into a patrol vehicle.
Again, thankfully, none of our officers were injured, nor the father, during this encounter. As the suspect drove away in the stolen marked patrol unit, the other officer got back into their vehicle and gave chase. The suspect drove at speeds of up to 104 miles per hour. Pursuing officers lost visual as the suspect drove to the 7300 block of South Durango. He pulled up behind a truck at a gas pump, armed with a rifle, and then carjacked the truck, which was occupied by 4 citizens. The citizens got out and thankfully were not harmed. I will now show you surveillance video of that scene, and just of note, there is no audio to this video. This is our suspect arriving in the stolen patrol vehicle. He is still armed with his rifle, and he is ordering the occupants of the blue truck out at this time. As our suspect flees in this stolen vehicle, you can see he hits this concrete pole. Now, despite hitting the pole, the suspect flees to the 8500 block of Blue Diamond Road. He ended up at another gas station, got out of this stolen truck, and carjacked another SUV, which was occupied 2 times. The suspect, who was still armed with a rifle, then got into the driver's seat of this stolen SUV. And again, thankfully here, none of the occupants in this vehicle were injured. LVMPD officer Jacob McKeel pulled into this parking lot and observed the suspect actively carjacking this SUV. Officer McKeel fired at the suspect as he was getting into the driver's seat of this stolen SUV. Detectives believe one or more of Officer McKeel's rounds struck the suspect because blood was located inside of the SUV when it was processed. We will now play a body-worn camera from the first officer-involved shooting.
Yes. This 401 in the UK parking lot, southeast lot. He's getting out of his truck. Get out of the truck!
The suspect then drove the stolen SUV to the area of Durango and Mistral Avenue. The ongoing LVMPD pursuit had been broadcast over the radio, and Nevada State Police troopers heard it and also responded. As the suspect drove north on Durango, he conducted a U-turn alongside a white van who was also making a U-turn and attempting to pull to the side of the road. The suspect pulled alongside the van and fired 1 round from within the stolen SUV into the driver's side window of the white van. That bullet struck the victim, and the van came to a stop. The suspect jumped out of the stolen SUV, armed with a rifle, and ran to the passenger side of the van, while 3 Nevada State Police troopers and 1 LVMPD officer arrived on scene. Moments later, another shot was heard as the suspect fired through the passenger side of the white van and got inside. Officers observed the driver door open, and saw the suspect push the motionless victim out of the van. At that time, the 4 officers on scene fired 53 rounds at the suspect, striking him multiple times. The suspect then drove off, running over the victim's head as he fled. We will now play body-worn camera of the second officer-involved shooting, starting with the dash cam of one of the Nevada State Police Trooper vehicles. Now, before we begin this video, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to warn you that this video is very graphic and quite difficult to watch. We have blurred out parts of it because of that sensitive nature.
Dark colored as you think maybe a crossover type.
4276 directed to the Peru SUV. I believe I got the vehicle with northbound now on Rainbow. You are showing me a pursuit.
Copy, Maroon SUV northbound on Rainbow in pursuit.
We're going to be approaching Road Ranch northbound in the number 1, speed about 89 in both lanes.
Okay, you're under Rainbow.
No, I am on Rainbow. Tyler, they're shooting at me. They're shooting at me.
511, confirm your 20. Just confirm you're on Durango, northbound.
Durango Mistral is shooting at us. Durango Mistral is shooting at us. BMA.
Now that portion of the radio traffic where the trooper is saying he's shooting at us is the initial shot fired from within the stolen SUV into the white van.
Mistral, Mary Ida, Sam, Tom, Robert, Adam, Lincoln.
Now that is corroborated. If you look at the light pointed at the driver's side window, you'll see that there is an impact into that window.
I don't have eyes on the subject. Where is he?
Officers again gave chase until the van came to a stop near Durango and Agate Avenue. The incident was deemed a barricade, and LVMPD SWAT arrived and blocked in the van. SWAT monitored the suspect, and when they determined there was no movement in the van, officers moved in with medic to provide medical aid, and the suspect was declared deceased. The suspect wore camouflage articles and had a tactical vest on. The LVMPD Force Investigation Team and the Homicide Section are continuing to work on executing multiple search warrants for the vehicles and the suspect's residences, including a home in Henderson. On Thursday morning, officers conducted a grid search of the Desert Wash area behind the suspect's home, the scene of the initial shooting. They found numerous loaded magazines of various calibers. They also found a notebook in the wash with various writing in it. Inside was a diagram of a potential ambush situation, indicating the suspect was preparing for an armed confrontation with law enforcement. Now you can see a sample of that to the picture on my left. At the suspect's Las Vegas residence, we recovered numerous electronic devices, trail cameras, bulletproof vests, tactical helmets, and other firearms, along with the components and materials that could be used to manufacture firearm suppressors. At the home in Henderson, we recovered approximately 60 electronic devices and more notebooks. There were also numerous military manuals and documents about police responses to mass casualty incidents. Investigators also found what can be best described as camping or prepping supplies, including propane and a large supply of butane. Now, we still have many unanswered questions. We do not know if the suspect was attempting to build an improvised explosive device with the materials we found in either home. We do not know why the suspect started shooting in the wash. And we do not know why his parents immediately went to that area upon hearing gunfire. The suspect has a long criminal history dating back to 2009 and was most recently arrested on a DUI warrant in November in 2023 for an incident in March. He does have multiple prior arrests on drug and weapons charges. Our investigators are looking into all of it. During this past month, we have been plagued with several violent crime sprees and plots against our community. I want to take this time now to stress that if you know something, if you know someone that is suspicious in nature, has a grievance, or could be a threat, please reach out to law enforcement. I can't stress enough how much we need your help. If anything, we've painted a picture and I've showed you evidence of a story that should be very disturbing, but we need your help to force multiply our efforts and to keep our community safe. See something, say something is not just a slogan. If you see something suspicious, this is the time to have the courage, the foresight to call us and help us. You can call the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center at 702-828-7777. Now this concludes this portion of our briefing. I will now take questions.
Metro Police are continuing to investigate that home in Henderson. There are residents who are also in that home. Are they connected to Davidson in any sort of way?
The only connection that we have at this time is that they were living in the residence that he occupied. They were detained, however, they were not arrested.
So, did Davidson die from being struck by Metro officers, or was it a self-inflicted gunshot wound?
We do not have evidence, and the coroner's report is not complete at this time, but we do not have evidence that he died as a result of a self-inflicted gunshot. In fact, he was not armed with the weapon inside the vehicle that was left at the the passenger side of the van.
Where and when was the gun show that one of the rifles had been stolen from?
We do not have that information. Sorry about that.
The stuff that you found in the wash, were they buried or were they on the side? Where did you locate them?
So they were, that's a very good question, and they were located at various locations within that desert area.
As in, he left them there that night, or he had been putting them there over a period of time?
That is something that we do not have the full details of that information. We can tell you that where they were recovered were in various locations in that desert area.
Victoria with Fox 5.
This last question I'll take, but go ahead, ma'am.
You mentioned if you see something, say something. His father was obviously a witness to one of the horrific crimes. Has his father said anything to you guys about whether or not they had any indication their son would have been capable of doing such a crime like this?
We're at the very preliminary stages of this investigation, and clearly the father is also distraught, so I don't have that information for you. So we have multiple families grieving, and needless to say, this was a very dynamic and a horrible situation.
Lastly, can you confirm,
was
he at the house or was he visiting the house? And then what time did he leave to go into the wash?
Thank you very much.